Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our meetings tonight. We'll have a committee meeting first and then the special council meeting following that, October the 4th, 2022. I'd like to welcome Deputy Mayor McColeman and my fellow councillors. Councillor Snow is unable to be with us tonight. He's at a province. Councillor, oh, I forgot to shut my phone off. So give me a second, I'll shut it off. And Councillor Campbell, I don't think can be with us, but we have a quorum. And we have our engineer from Tech Services, Aaron McDonald over here, and Linda Stevenson from Tech Services, and we have our fire chief, and we have our police chief. I'll get that in a minute now. And we have Colin McLean with us from the Journal Pioneer, and members of the public, welcome, and our viewers on YouTube, welcome as well. And just to follow up a little bit on the police chief, he's been with us for 45 years. He's officially retiring Friday coming, and this will be his last meeting, so we'd like to have a special welcome to Police Chief. To Police Chief Dave Poirier after 45 years of exemplary service. And he did receive the National Award from the Governor General of Canada, the highest award a police officer can get in the country. And to go 45 years in this day and age with a clean record like he has, he's very deserving, and so we wish him all the best in his retirement. There is a Thursday evening, there's a public reception for Dave, or Chief, I should say, at the Credit Union Place at 7 o'clock. And everybody's welcome to attend the reception, retirement reception for Dave, and shake his hand and wish him well and thank him for his service. So I don't think I missed anybody. We'll continue on, and I believe Councillor Ramsey, you're the first committee. Okay. Oh, I didn't mention Brian Harlick, sorry.
Oh, don't
Brian
forget
Harlick
Brian.
is our acting director of human resources, but he wears 2 or 3 hats, and now he's also on the controls here tonight. So, thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship, and excuse my voice. I have a little bit of laryngitis, but
Can I, sorry, interrupt you one more time?
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
I didn't. We have our Director of Finance around the corner here, Kristen Dunsford, and we have our CAO acting, Gordon McFarland.
okay, we good.
That's it for now.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you. Again, excuse my voice. I have a little bit of laryngitis, but it's an exciting evening for me. We're doing some fire hall stuff, so that excites me, so I wouldn't miss it for anything. But the first thing I want to do is just congratulate Chief Dave Poirier on 45 years with Summerside Police Services. And it's been my pleasure to work with you, Dave, for the last 4 years, and you'll certainly be missed. And I'm looking forward to Thursday evening and to celebrate you and all that you've given to the city of Summerside. Thank you. And first on the agenda, I have received a call from a lady by the name of Tammy from Island Pregnancy Center, which is a service offered here in Summerside, and they have expanded that service. So she was hoping to come in to do a presentation on exactly what they offer. So we're going to take 15 minutes to allow Tammy to do her presentation, and thank you for coming in, Tammy.
Yes, thank you so much. You guys can hear me okay? Excellent. I'll start off by just being very honest. I'm a little nervous to be here. I'm sure if any of you are aware of Island Pregnancy Center, we've been a little bit under fire the last few weeks. We were awarded some money from 100 Women Who Care, and from that there was a lot of negative publicity about it. So it's really exciting though for me to be able to be here and share truthfully about what our services are. So, but I do feel a little nervous. The day after we won our award, there were some negative comments at my 4-year-old daughter's 4-year assessment, and they asked me my name and where I worked. I was like, oh, I'm afraid to tell you. I didn't want any negative backlash. But we're really proud of the services that we can provide at the Island Pregnancy Center. So we have been in Summerside for the last 2 years. We're just right over across from Michael's Pizza. I've only been with the organization for the last 2 years, so I'm going to speak on what we provide for the last 2 years. So, and I always welcome if anyone has questions or concerns, you're more than welcome to chat with me about that. So basically what we do, what the services are that we provide, is we want to provide support for women and men and families who might be facing an unexpected pregnancy or who are about to give birth or have recently given birth and need a little extra support. So that's kind of what we do. So we provide an environment where we discuss your options for pregnancy. There's only 3 options, so we discuss those. We definitely respect the right of a woman to make her own choice, and whichever choice a woman chooses, we provide support. So because at the end of parenting, if you choose to parent, there is a baby, we have a lot of supports in place to support mom and baby. So that's a big part of what we do. So we provide our free baby boutique, which provides anything that you can think of that's maternity and baby related. We provide baby formula, diapers, wipes, all of the necessities that you would need. If finances happens to be one of the barriers to choosing to parent, we want to make sure that we can assist with that. So that's a big part of what we do. We also offer mother support groups. We have a counselor that, a professional counselor, so that we can pay for those services if our clients need some professional counseling. We have like drop-in in place. We just do a lot of promoting for healthy families, for moms who have their babies. So what we're moving into to expand our services in Summerside, because we have a great center there with a lot of space, we're opening what we're calling Hope House Mother's Home. So we recognize, so we have about 375 clients, and 120 of those would be from the Summerside area, and extended like out in Tignish, Alberton. So we have quite a few clients in Summerside for just being here for the last 2 years. So what we have really come to recognize is there's a lot of moms who are single, who don't have a lot of healthy supports in place. So what we're trying to do is create an environment where they can stay together with their infant. Because what we're seeing is we have really stressed out, overwhelmed moms on this side, and we have your child is removed by Child and Family on this side. So we want to kind of fill that gap a little bit. How can we keep moms and infants together? My husband and I were foster parents for 17 years, and we took infants from the hospital. And I think I can really say how traumatizing that is. Not only for an infant, because it is, and we're recognizing how important mental health is at the infancy level, but also for a birth mom or a birth dad. So we're trying to kind of add some dignity to that and provide a space. It'll be 24/7 supportive care, so we'll have staff there. There's space for 5 moms and 5 babies. They have their own private room. We're just finishing up a renovation, so we will have an open house. It was supposed to be last night, but canceled because of the challenges of Fiona. And so we really want to provide an opportunity for moms and babies to stay together, learn some of those skills that they need to live safely and independently on their own as a family unit. So moms can live there for a year. If they're ready to leave before a year, that's good. It's their choice. They're also able to leave. They're not forced to stay there. But we want to provide a good solid year after baby's born to be able to kind of help them bond well, help them with healthy relationships. Maybe they need to get their GEDs. Maybe they want a little bit of employment. They want their parenting skills. All of those things will be involved in our programming so that we can create an environment where they feel really good to be able to leave and live safely with their baby. So we're really excited about that. In a best case scenario, we would never need this kind of facility, but I really feel like for what we have right now, this is the best way to be able to keep some of our young moms and their infants together. And we will be working with Child and Family and social housing and programming just to kind of assess some of those needs. So we're excited about that. I think it's going to be really beneficial. I just know that there's a lot of moms, whether it's deserved or not, or needed for a child or an infant to be removed. We really want to provide the support so that they can stay together, and support for mom too, so that she can learn some of those skills and have the confidence and the ability to be independent that way. So that's basically what we do. We have a lot of resources in our community. Summerside has a lot of great resources, like with Family Place and a lot of other kind of places. So we really are a place too where if moms are coming to us or dads, we can provide the supports. We do what we do, and we try to do it really, really well, but we can't do everything. So we really partner with a lot of the supports that are already in place and really encourage our moms and dads to kind of reach out and do those things. So we did do just a promotional video. It's not quite finished, but I thought it might be good enough to show here because it's almost done. Just a little bit to give you a little insight. I don't know, has anyone here ever visited the pregnancy center in Summerside? No?
COVID, I think. I remember when it opened.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome to come see it. We're there on Mondays right now. Mondays every 11 to 4. But hopefully once the Mother's Home is up and running, we'll have a few more days that we're available. The same staff works in Charlottetown and Summerside, so we're kind of back and forth. That's why it's only one day a week. But you're welcome to come. I'm always happy to give a tour and kind of explain a little bit more of our services. But mostly we just want women, especially in this area. We see a lot of need in the Summerside area and kind of further out. And we just... We just want our families to feel very supported and very cared about and feel like they have a place that there's no judgment. Whatever they're choosing, whatever their needs are, there's no judgment from us. We just are there to provide the resources and the support so that they can feel really good about their life. So that's it. So I will show you this. I don't know if there's a time for questions, if people want to, or...
So we would have a couple of minutes after for a question period, but yeah.
All right,
Fine. Thank
so here we go. Hopefully this will be loud enough.
This is only 4 minutes, right? Is that what you said?
Yes. So is there anything special I do to make the sound?
On yours, is it turned up?
It's turned up maximum, but I don't hear any sound when I play it.
I haven't got any picture here yet either.
It's right here. It definitely plays,
Oh, there.
but I was hoping there might be some sound. Music adds a lot when we're trying to... I don't know, do you have any ideas?
That speaker button's not turned on, right? Down on the left corner.
Left corner.
It looks like it's on.
What is the sound,
Just below the start.
It's music and interviews, like talking. Sorry, guys. It always seems to happen when you bring something, no matter how prepared you are.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm not overly techy. Yeah, that's maximum. Like everything would work if it's plugged into this, so it's so weird when it doesn't. Do you want to try that? I'm pretty sure I turned it up full, but. Not sure. Well, if it's not, if the sound's not there, it's kind of maybe not that great to listen to, but it just basically shows our centers, both in Charlottetown and Summerside, and then our client services director talks a little bit about if you're facing an unexpected pregnancy, what you can expect if you come to the center. And then we talk a little bit about how appreciative we are. Everything that we do at the pregnancy center is through donations. So we have 2 full baby boutiques and everything is through donations. So we wash everything that comes in. We want moms to be able to take it and have it to take home to use so that they don't have to worry about that. We also are starting a new laundry kind of program because a lot of our moms live in apartment buildings and it's really awful to carry baby and laundry downstairs. So they can come in the afternoons and do their laundry for free if they like. And we have like just a lot of material goods that they might need. So outside of our material goods and offering that professional counseling and emotional support, and we do that for abortion, placing for adoption, as well as parenting. That's basically, we're there as a support organization. We're not a medical facility. We do pregnancy testing, but we always, again, would refer people to go see their doctor. Same with abortion. If you're looking for an abortion, we always refer you to a doctor. I think you need to go see the doctor and have an ultrasound before one. Choosing to parent, we will connect you with as many parenting resources as we can. So those are kind of the things we do. So I'm totally open to any questions, if anyone has any. It's very self-explanatory, but it has been really great to be here and to see like all of the clients from all of the Western area. So you had one?
I do.
Okay.
Bruce, if you
Yeah,
do.
I
Go ahead.
just have a quick question. Just where does your funding come from? I know you said there was a lot of donations and that type of thing, but somebody must get paid for something. And I'm just wondering, is
Yep.
that the government funded or, and is it
So-
a long term or?
So for our funding, it all comes from like donations from individuals, businesses, organizations, churches. Now, I have spent the last year writing a lot of grants, so we have been awarded some grants. Some of them are through like PEI Alliance for Mental Health, which is from the government. Some of our summer students would be funded through Skills PEI, which is a government program. But a lot of our funding is just from donations from individuals who really support this. Yeah.
Thank you, Bruce. Councillor Carey.
I just had a really quick question. Whenever you do finish the video, would you be able to just email it to us?
Yes, I really am so disappointed the sound is not
I
working.
just thought that way, if anybody reaches out to us, we can send it along. So
Yeah,
that
for
would be-
sure.
Yeah, that'd
Yes,
be great.
I can do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Your worship.
Just wondering, maybe you mentioned it in your presentation, I didn't pick it up, but is there sort of an overnight service there too, or is it strictly office and information?
So right now, it's not, but our mother's home is a 24/7 supportive housing. So moms will live there for up to a year, and they
In
will
the one in
stay overnight.
Summerside and Charlottetown?
Just in Summerside.
In Summerside?
Yeah, so our building in Charlottetown and our building in Summerside was donated to us, so we don't carry a mortgage, which is really great. So in Summerside, we have the big building that used to be like long ago Harvest House and then Jars of Clay Cafe. So there's like a third level that's a 6-bedroom facility. So we've renovated so that the main floor and the top floor kind of is combined so that there's enough space. So yeah, it's in Summerside. Women from all over PEI can access it if they need to. But yeah, that will be overnight. But what the services we provide during the day are just our support and resource services.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Thank you. Councillor McCollum.
I was just trying to take some of the notes that you were saying. So you were saying 6 bedrooms, which would be a space for the mom and child.
Yeah, so it is a 6-bedroom facility, but 1 bedroom is meant for staff. So we can house 5 moms and 5 babies, and they have their own private space. And then it's shared, kitchen shared. We have 4 bathrooms. We have like 2 full bathrooms. We have 2 sets of washers and dryers, and then we have like a playroom, a living room, another little eating area. So
Okay.
yeah, so there's hopefully lots of space.
And I also picked up on some of your comments, the fact where you mentioned that your service is really a support. It's a support organization to all women.
Yes.
And I like the idea when you talk about empowerment and education and work with resources and partnership around the community.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad to hear that, because there's so many people that are in a place where those supports are really, really important to empower them. So I think that's
Exactly.
really important to a
And a
young
lot of
person.
people don't always know how to navigate those resources or how to find them. People like to call me the resource queen, but I used to work as the manager at the soup kitchen in Charlottetown, and resources was our thing because a lot of clients that we worked with might not have understood how to work that system. So yeah, I really love resources. I feel like even knowing the resources is so empowering for people. If they have those and they have phone numbers, they can go and do that on their own. So yeah, we definitely want to partner with those who are doing it well already.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor McCollum. Councillor Duran.
Thank you, Councillor Ramsey. I guess the only question I have that is for your day-to-day programs, are they walk-in or like appointment-based or?
We do both.
Okay.
Because we're a smaller staff, like we love to have people book their appointments so that we can kind of arrange that, but we always accept walk-ins. Summerside is mostly always walk-ins. They've heard about us or they've driven by. Our mothers groups, like our support groups, are usually, because we provide childcare, we have to know numbers in advance. So those kind of supports would be, we know in advance people have signed up, so yeah.
Well, then, if everybody's asked their questions, I just have one question for you, Tammy, if that's okay. So if someone contacted me and they were in trouble, a young person, can I just go ahead, and is there a phone number? How would someone reach out to you or your organization? What method would they use?
So they can use a few methods. We have a website. Island Pregnancy Center is the website. We have a Facebook page, which is also Island Pregnancy Center. Our Instagram is also Island Pregnancy Center. We keep it really simple. So any of those would have all of our contact information. They can also call us. Our number is 902-916-4747. 6884. That's specifically for Summerside.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, 902-916-6884. And then in Charlottetown, they can contact Charlottetown as well. See, we're open more days in Charlottetown. So if they contact there, we just book them for Summerside. So, yeah, but we get a lot of messages through our website and through our Facebook page for sure, so.
Well, it sounds like 120 clients from Summerside West is a large number of young people
Yeah, it's a
who,
lot. And even yesterday I was
who
in
need the
Summerside and we had
resources.
3 new clients. And the week before we had 3 new clients. So there's always new clients that are coming.
right,
So for only being open 1 day a week, it seems to be a very busy
a busy
spot.
time.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for what you offer to Summerside. It's appreciated, I'm sure, by many, many families. So I just thank you for your presentation.
Just one final
Oh,
question. if I could.
sorry.
You had mentioned 1 day a week. Is the Charlottetown office the same? one day?
Charlottetown's open 3 days a week. So altogether, we have 375 clients. And just a little tidbit of information. So since January 2022, this year, we've already had just under 80 babies born, and we have 30 more due before Christmas.
Oh.
So a lot of those are in Charlottetown. So we're open 3 days a week in Charlottetown right now.
What day a week in Summerside?
Mondays, every Monday. And then on Fridays, I'm at the Charlottetown Center, but I'm available if anyone needs to meet up for baby formula, diapers, like necessity items.
Could break that down again. You had 100 and some in Prince County?
120 in
Yeah.
That's about
Summerside
half of
West.
them, did you say?
We have about 375 clients total.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the other, they're all not necessarily Charlottetown, the others, they could be farther east?
Yeah, like Montague, Surrey, a lot from Charlottetown.
Can you see
So-
the Summerside being 2 days a week or 3?
We would love to have Summerside 2 days a week. Unfortunately, right now, we can't afford an extra staff person. So because the same staff, the same 4 of us work both centers, that's all we can do. But when we start the mother's home and we have full-time staff there, we're hoping we can be open again. Yeah, for
Right.
longer. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
I really appreciate the opportunity to come and share. I really, really feel so proud of the work, and for the families that we support, we're really thankful that we're able to provide that for them. So, and anytime, if anyone is interested or has questions or hears things that they're not quite sure, feel free to contact me or come and see the center. I'd love to show you around.
Well, if you reschedule your open house, I can let
Definitely,
everyone
yeah.
know, and I'll put it on my Facebook for those who might want to go and visit and see what it's all about. But
Perfect.
certainly a good presentation. Thank you very much,
I
Tammy.
really appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
I'm sorry this didn't work. I'm so cute.
Oh, it's okay. Yes.
Hi, I'd like to know if it's true that your organization will only employ Christians.
We do have.
Should be on the
Yeah, that.
microphone.
If people could go to the microphone and say your name, please. We've only got about 5 minutes in the time frame.
Going.
It was on before, so on before?
Oh. Just say your name and your address, and thank you.
My name is Nancy Quinn, and my address is Summerside. And I would like to know if it's true that your organization will only employ Christians.
So we fall under Pregnancy Care Canada, which is a national organization. So their mandate is that employees are Christians. So
the answer is yes?
The answer is yes, but I myself am a Christian. And when women come in and want information on their options, what my personal beliefs are has nothing to do with what's presented. It's factual medical information. We've met with Women's Wellness to make sure the information that we're providing is the same that they provide. So yes, it's true, but that doesn't hinder the correct and supportive information that we provide on all 3 options for unexpected pregnancy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry.
My name is Amanda Daw. I live here in Summerside. I have 2 questions for you. One is, you've said women a lot of times.
Yeah.
Do you support fathers, and do you support queer people? It's not
Yes.
only women who give birth.
Yeah, I think she did say fathers there too.
Yeah, we support a lot of men. Actually, a lot of our clients are men. And we're starting to introduce some support groups for our fathers as well. So we definitely support men, women, and children. And we do support, if you look at our website, it very clearly states that there's no judgment, and we will serve anyone based it doesn't matter their gender, their sexual identity, their race, their culture, nothing like that.
And-
And we do have a same-sex couple as clients as well.
And how will that work in this potential housing situation that you have? Will it only be women who are allowed to live there?
Yeah, at this time it will be, like fathers who are involved with their children, like who choose to be involved, they definitely can come and visit, and there's all kinds of that interaction, but because of some of the types of situations that women are there for, it is going to be men can't stay there as well. If we can ever afford to have another center or somewhere where we could have both floors, kind of like how Lennon House does it, we would love to be able to do that, but at this time, it is just gonna be single women, but we strongly encourage birth dads to be involved.
Perfect. And my other question is, you gave stats on how many babies had been born
Mhm.
through your support program.
Yeah.
How many abortions did you,
Well-
referrals were you able to make?
So people like to talk about statistics. Unfortunately for us, when women come and want to talk about abortion, so I want to be really clear. When women come to us, it's a client-led conversation. So there's 3 options. So we ask them, do you want to hear about the option of parenting? Do you want to hear about the option of adoption? Do you want to hear about the option of abortion? So some women come and only want to talk about abortion. So that's what we talk about. Unfortunately, most people who choose to have an abortion don't come back or don't tell us what their decision has been. We always follow up with every client who has come, but we don't always get a message back. So even though I say 70 babies have been born, clients who came to us with their unexpected pregnancy and had a pregnancy test, there could be lots more who had babies, they just haven't come back to us. So we have probably, I would say, between 10 and 12 women a year who come wanting to have an abortion. So of those 10 to 12 in the past year, we've only heard of 2 who came back and said they had an abortion. So unfortunately, we don't usually hear back from a lot of them. But we do always offer like post-abortion support. Like if they do want counseling or they want to talk to someone or they want to share in any way, like we do offer that support, but we don't usually get a lot of feedback after that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you, Tammy. I appreciate it for all questions. Thank you, everybody, and thanks for coming in.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
Tam-
Oh, sorry. no.
Tammy, you did a great job. I don't know, you said you were nervous. It
I am
certainly didn't
nervous.
show.
Because I really love this organization and I want people to know the truth about it. And so that's why I appreciate those questions. And the more that we can talk about,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
better I think it is
Absolutely.
for all of our men and women across PEI. So
Yes.
thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much.
Thanks.
Thank you. So you still have the agenda, have the floor, Councillor Ramsey.
I'm just wondering if she needs help with that TV. Are you good?
Totally good.
Okay, thank you. She's good, Chief. She's gone. So next on the agenda is Aaron and Linda from Tech Services to talk about our Fire Hall RFP. We're pretty excited to hear about this. Welcome, Chief Ron Inman.
And just before Director McDonald gets started here, just for council's awareness, he's going to update on the process that staff went through, the results of the RFP. We're not like council. This is more for awareness for council. We don't need a resolution or anything like that, but we're,
Making us aware.
Yep.
we need to be aware.
Yep.
Thank you.
thanks.
All right, thank you. We released a request for proposals. I'm not sure the date, but we're originally going to close, and with the request from some of the design firms, they want to collaborate with other partners, so they requested a couple of week of extension. We granted that, so the RFP closed on the 1st of September. There was a staff committee set up to review the proposals, and staff completed that review. The review process was outlined in the RFP. There was a number of criteria that they knew they would all be scored on with various points, so they all knew the scoring system that they had to try to meet, or if they felt they were deficient, some of them took on or acquired or partnered with other partners to bolster their team. So, excuse me. So before he was in the package, we had circulated a memo with the results. Everybody was the more points they received, the higher ranking they were. The RFP was awarded based on whoever would gain the highest points. We had a total of 5 submissions. One of the submissions was disqualified due to incomplete information submitted. So we reviewed the other 4, and we had 4, they're all locally based firms that if they were short experience or expertise in certain area, partnered with other organizations. So before you, I guess we were fortunate that we had, the goal was to find a experienced, solid team, and hopefully for a good price. So the results are before you. We have four very tight scoring, and as it worked out in this case, it doesn't always work out. The highest ranked team also had the lowest price submission for the work. The pricing still was very close for 2 of the bids, and then 2 of the bids were a fair bit higher. So we were comfortable in the fact that we got 2 bids close together, one being with the low bid. So again, the successful proposal was received from Architecture 49, and they had a total of 84 points, and for a cost submitted of a little over $400,000, $437,765. So that is the firm that will be awarded the work. They, going forward, in the RFP, they were laid out steps as well of what they were to do, and there was a number of categories where deliverables that they were to, milestones, I guess you want to say, and at each one of those milestones, we outlined the object or the opportunity if it was sidetracked for whatever reason, an option to stop the process partway through if deemed be. We're not anticipating that, but we still wanted to know that where you were, we would know. We also got a corresponding fee if we ever had to stop the program that we went so far. We wouldn't be arguing ahead of time saying how much of the 437 did we expend. So we feel comfortable in the submissions that were received, based on them all being very close, and also that we had the lowest price, and it's within the budget amount that was passed in the budget proposal. Scope of work includes the design firm doing I'll say a set of drawings, complete to tender, assisting and answering questions during the tender period, as well as overseeing and doing some inspections during the actual build, as well as coming back at the 1 year mark. So it's inclusive of all the services we anticipate. Like, so they're not just doing a set of drawings and then hand it to us and walking away. They're helping us with the tender period, as well as overseeing the project when it's being constructed and verifying that the building is built as per their design.
Good. Great. Where is that firm
Well,
from? Sorry.
Oh, sorry, Your Worship.
Sorry, I was just wondering if Architectural 49 is their location?
Architecture 49 is,
WSB.
I believe, part of the ownership group of WSP, which is on,
Summerside office.
yes, my understanding, your Architecture 49 was also WHW. They evolved into Architecture 49. It was WHW that designed and built the cup. And WSB, I'm not going to say how they took over that company or became part of their portfolio. Their offices are still in the Architecture 49. Architects are in Halifax, and the design team here is some of the partners here, as well as if they were short anybody else in their other Dartmouth or Halifax offices.
That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Your Worship. Bruce.
Hi,
Councillor
Aaron.
McDougall.
Thanks, Mark. So the next steps, I guess I'm trying to get a timeline here of our next steps would be to hire this company to do the final design, specs, then we go out to tender. How long before we know if we're within budget or out of budget? Or
Okay, there's two parts to that question, I guess.
Perfect.
Probably three parts, I guess. We had given them a time frame in the tender documents as well, but that was based on the September 1st closing, and we gave them an extension, and then our portion of the review took longer because one of the criteria was actually reviewing references, and some of the partnerships were dealing with firms that did work in BC and the States, so we had some time lag of putting the requests in to actually hear back from. So we had our part, so we're gonna have to extend that by a couple of weeks, but not that a couple of weeks is the end of the world. We're talking, right now, the projection is we would go to tender in March and April, which suits us as far as we wouldn't want to be trying to build anything sooner than that to dig in the ground. That would be the first step. So we're talking the spring is what our projected design period is completed by. And also, your other question was on costing. As part of the deliverables that we asked with a number of steps, we asked them to say the first three steps as they were. If you recall, we done like a functional program determining the space and size of the building. Forgive me, I don't have the dates on. Within the last year, we had completed that review part, and then they gave us a price to do that. The first step was, ironically, the firm that did that was Architecture 49, who was the successful bid, but we didn't know that going in. But also, the first step is to review that document to make sure, because we made some changes after that. And as part of that review was to revise with a similar cost estimate that was given to us at that time. Because whatever that date was, we want to make sure we're starting with a revised current price based on the current market. So at the next couple of steps, when they make a submission again, we've asked them again to do another cost estimate at those various first three stages. So that we will be able to say, okay, we've got this far. We don't want to get down too far and all of a sudden it's a different price number, and then we're saying, okay, we need to scale back the project to meet a budget, and they've already gone too far.
And that's basically the answer I was looking for.
Okay.
That's what I was.
And that was outlined in the RFP so that the successful, or all bidders knew that that was the requirement.
Right. Thank you. Councillor McDougall, Councillor Drawn.
Thanks, Councillor Ramsey. I guess first of all, thank you, Aaron. I'm certainly thrilled to see this going ahead at the rate that it is, both as a supporter of the project here in council and as a member of the fire services. And I will support whatever recommendation from here going forward. But I do have to ask, just on behalf of folks that I've talked to in the industry, why wasn't this RFP submitted to the Construction Association? Like, how do we decide who to send this out to and to bid on if it's not a?
I have to go back and verify for you, but typically our bids go, we had to do, I think, to follow our procurement policy, we either did a listing in the paper to make sure, that's just the wording, to make sure we follow that. Then we put it on our various forms of social media. Charlottetown had done a similar process, I think in the last year. We contacted them to find out every bidder that had actually bid that project, because we weren't sure who was going to have the expertise to say. One of the criteria was who's designed 3 to 5 stations in the last 5 years, and we weren't sure if many. So that was also a criteria of the Charlottetown review. So we contacted Charlottetown to give us a list of all their bidders as well as who submitted. So we sent it out to all those as well. We got something like 30 some responses, and at least that made the inquiry to get on an official list. We want to make sure that everybody gets on our official list and not multiple lists at different spots, because if we issue an addendum, we're not going to know. For example, if you went to the Construction Association and took out the package, and if we didn't know about it, you wouldn't receive the addendums and changes. And then if it closed, it'd be like, well, so we try to focus everybody to come through our reception and 3rd floor to get on one official list. So if a mail out happened to go out, that would be the list. But so again, it went on. Other than that, I can't tell you more than that, but that's
No, it's just, yeah, no, I mean, as long as we're following our procurement bylaw policy,
I would say we
great.
are,
But I guess I was just
exceeding.
wondering, wouldn't, and you've answered it, but I guess, and I'm not in the industry, so I don't know a lot about how these things work, but I would just think, if it was to be submitted, to a provincial organization, that would encompass a lot more possible respondents, but that's just, from an outsider looking in.
and the only danger we have if someone takes that and reviews it and they just go to pass in the package at the end, we wouldn't know that they were a potential of interest until they got on our list. So in this process, I think we issued 1 or 2 addendums based on questions. The addendums went out to the people that we had on the list, so that we don't want to get into a dispute later on that, this was my package. Well, it wasn't in addendum number 2, and then we didn't have addendum number 2. So
Yeah.
we made sure that we had a tight list to make sure to eliminate that any source of contention later.
Am I correct in your question is, why didn't that go directly to the Construction Association?
I guess that's part of it. It's just that I was.
think that's your
yeah,
question,
it was
because
just-
I got that same,
Sure. Yeah.
I got that
Sure, I'm
email
sure
as
you did,
well.
yeah.
So, and I called up to find out the answer to that as well, back in the day, and I think it was Aaron and I that spoke, and I think it is advertised in the Guardian and in the Journal and on social media, and I think it's for, I don't know that it was specifically going to anybody in particular, it was just being advertised.
We advertised, but again, to make sure we tried covering off the people that were interested in bidding on a fire station in PEI, like Charlottetown the past year. We tried to at least reach out to those to say, here's a project that they're a rarity, building a fire station that would be
Might be of interest.
to
Okay.
make sure again, I would have to verify that for you, but I recall that partway through we said, how's the list going? We had like 20 and 30. I said, okay, we got lots of coverage, so hopefully we're going to get lots of bids. That's our criteria. We want to make sure we try to get lots of bids.
You were saying Charlottetown, wasn't it Stratford that had
Stratford's is built. I think Charlton, has one in design mode. I'm not, they had done an RFP in the last year
I think Chief would
to
know.
request for
Yeah.
these services,
Yeah.
And I accept
Yep.
the answers. It's just,
Yeah.
no, I just wanted to ask on behalf of people who spoke to me
Who
and
spoke to
just wanted to make it clear that it didn't look like from outside we're handpicking people to send RFPs to.
we
So that's just wanted
we
to make
got
that clear.
tons of responses, and we got 5 local firms on PEI that I truthfully didn't think we were going to get 5 island firms, but thankfully, if they thought they were lacking in an area, they partnered with someone else to give them that expertise. They felt they weren't, to give them a strong submission.
Okay, thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Brian, Councillor McFeely.
Very, very quickly, just it's wonderful to see a competitive bid process and not just struggling through with one bid as we have in many tenders recently. So that's good news, and certainly I don't have any issue with it. My question is, what did we have budgeted for design?
All we had, that I'm aware of, was an overall $1 million for this year. Whether that was design and land or what, I wasn't part of that discussion. But
So
in rough terms, though, we had given them as part of our package that we submitted to them, we gave them this square footage and the budget for a building to base their
Yeah.
design on.
no, I just want to be sure that we're within budget for.
I guess where I'm going to go there is it was in the range of
Fine,
less than.
thank you.
And mine is just.
Thank you, Councillor McFeely.
Mine is just a clarity. We went out, you just went out for the design proposal, right?
Design as well as overseeing the construction is still in it.
But not the construction.
To oversee it.
It was just to oversee it. So the construction association would be more interested in the build rather than the design, right? And
I didn't
Is
field
there
the
still an
question, so yeah,
yeah.
whenever the actual tender for the building goes out, will be the contractors. This was the consultants that
Right.
were all involved.
yeah, that's what I thought, so.
Yeah.
That's why I was questioning that.
Thank you, Councillor McDougall, and thank you, Aaron, if there aren't any more questions. And I'm just thrilled at where we are on this project, as I know every other councillor is and our mayor is, and it's something we've been working towards, and we've got the property, We've got the architect in place, and I know Chief Ron Edmond, how happy you are to see this moving forward, and all of your firemen, including Councillor Duran. So anyway, it's a great evening in Summerside. Thank you very much, Aaron.
I'll just clarify, we have a proposal. We did not get to offer them a contract. We haven't told anyone the results of this until today. So
Till today.
the architect has not been advised yet.
Maybe they won't take the job. That would be terrible tomorrow.
No, but we have a good, if that happened, we have a qualified firm that's very close behind them and,
Exactly, we do. Yeah, no, that sounds good. Thank you very much, Aaron, and I think that's pretty
If
much,
they're watching tonight, they'll know about it.
if they're watching tonight, they know, or any of their friends, yeah.
Councillor Barr?
Or Colin's here. Yes, yes, no.
I just wanted to thank Director Aaron, yourself, and the department members when you do go through that process with technical services, especially on the bids and the tenders. I've always noticed how detailed they go out and come in, and how factual you folks are when they come back, and I really appreciate it, and I would really hope that our residents would know that it's a very tight process, that it's not loosey-goosey, that you follow all of the regulations. So thank you for doing that.
I think that's evident with one being disqualified.
With what?
One of them was disqualified because they didn't meet all of it, right? So we have to be fair and accurate.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and thanks again, Aaron. Linda. And that's it for police services, Your Worship.
We'll turn it over now to the Chair of the Planning Board, Councillor McFeely. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship, and we will move into the October 4th Planning Board meeting and with a call to order. And the agenda is in front of us here with two items on it. A recommendation on 19 Lorne Avenue, restricted use, and a discussion on short-term rentals. So with that, I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda of Planning Board. Moved by Councillor Adams, seconded by Councillor Ramsey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. So just an explanation for people, the voting members of Planning Board are Councillor Ramsey, Councillor Adams, Your Worship, and myself as chair. Certainly when we have Planning Board meetings, all councillors are welcome and invited to comment and express their views as well. So we'll move right into the recommendation on 19 Lorne Avenue. I'm like Councillor Ramsey, my voice is struggling a bit tonight, so we have capable assistant Councillor Adams standing by should we break down here. So supporting explanation, the purpose of the application is to allow a light construction company as a restricted use in the service commercial C2 zone. A restricted use requires council approval. Light construction company, a construction company with equipment related to construction and maintenance of buildings, sidewalks, driveways, landscaping services, and may include private properties and snow removal. Private property snow removal. Background, an application was received from Ryan's Landscaping and Snow Service, Inc. for 19 Lorne Avenue, PID number 70276, PID number 584524, and PID number 995506. This application will require City Council approval to allow a light construction company as a restricted use in the service commercial C2 zone. And you can see from the map the designated property. And the report. Under section 5.7 of the zoning bylaw, when planning board reviews a restricted use, it has to consider the following general criteria as applicable. A, conformity with all requirements of this bylaw, the zoning bylaw. Staff comment, a light construction company use conforms with the bylaw, subject to council's approval for a restricted use approval in the C2 zone. The current zoning, service commercial C2, does not change. One of the purposes of the restricted use designation is to accommodate unique uses where rezoning would result in undesirable land uses due to the as of right in that zone. The proposed restricted use is permitted in other zones if the property were to be rezoned to one of these zones to accommodate the restricted use being sought. It would result in other undesirable land uses in the area. The specific uses can be achieved by designating the property as a restricted use, allowing only the restricted use. The permitted uses of the C2 zone are attached to this report. Conformity with the conformity with the official plan. Staff comment: the proposed restricted use would conform to the official plan as the land use will remain as commercial. Should the restricted uses cease to operate for 12 months, the restricted use lapses and the zone remains as service commercial C2 and can be utilized as such. The restricted use applies to the property, not the applicant. C, suitability of the site for proposed development. Staff comment: this site is suitable for this development as the site is a large flagged lot that is located 70 meters behind properties off North Drive. Compatibility of the proposed development with surrounding land uses, including both existing and projected uses. Staff comment: the property is zoned service commercial C2. The restricted use, light construction company, is compatible with the surrounding residential and commercial land uses. And the map is there showing the subject property as well as neighbors, and it does make reference to Vanessa Marchand's property that has a letter attached to it that I'll read into the record as well. E, any comments from residents or other interested persons. A public meeting was held on September 28, 2022. The public meeting notice was advertised in the September 14th edition of The Guardian. 39 letters were mailed to 31 property owners. Staff comment: prior to the public meeting, the applicant was in contact with some of the neighbors on Lorne Avenue. The development officer received a call on September 7th from Vanessa Marchand at 14 Lorne Avenue requesting clarity on the proposed use and indicated she would attend the public meeting. At the public meeting, Ryan Wallfield, 1400 Route 11 link letter, provided an overview of the proposed intent for the restricted use. No one from the public spoke at the meeting. The development officer received a call on September 15th from Karen Murphy, 30 East Drive. She requested clarity on the application. She was encouraged to attend the public meeting to hear the applicant's intent for the property. Shauna Perry, 15 Lorne Avenue, sent an email on September 23rd. She had concerns regarding noise and public safety. She was encouraged to send any further comments and or to attend the public meeting, and her email is attached. And I was referencing the map of Vanessa Marchand. That was a telephone call, not an email. F, adequacy of existing water, sewer, road, stormwater, and electrical services, city parking, and parkland for accommodating the development of any projected infrastructure requirements. Staff comment: the proposed restricted use does not require water, sewer, storm servicing. The existing building on site has an electrical service. There is adequate on-site parking. There is no parkland requirement for commercial lands. G, impacts from the development on pedestrian, vehicular access and safety and on public safety generally. Staff comment: Lorne Avenue is a private street off North Drive that serves as the access to 19 Lorne Avenue. The properties at 14 and 15 Lorne Avenue have a right-of-way access over this land, the private street to access North Drive. Pedestrians from Lorne Avenue may use this right-of-way to access an existing sidewalk on the east side of North Drive. H, compatibility of the development with environmental, scenic, and heritage resources. Staff comment: the development is compatible with environmental, scenic, and heritage resources. I, impact on city finances and budgets. Staff comment: this application does not impact city finances or budgets. J, other matters as specified in this bylaw. Staff comment: there's nothing there. K, other matters as considered relevant. Staff comment: the applicant indicated that any noise in the property would be associated to repair of the snow removal equipment, as the snow removal equipment, the tractors, operate from the driver's homes. The applicant owns 2 tractors and leases 5 others to service his 750 customers. The building on the property will be used to service his equipment should repairs be required. Staff review. Staff support the application from Ryan's Landscaping and Snow Service, Inc. for 19 Lorne Avenue, PID number 70276, PID number 584524, and PID number 995506 to allow a light construction company as a restricted use in the service commercial C2 zone. As per section 5.10 subsection B3 of the zoning bylaw, the planning board shall make a recommendation to council on this application before it is approved or denied. The planning board recommendation, whether carried or defeated, will be brought forward to council for a final decision. And you will note on the company page there, the service commercial C2 permitted uses for commercial, residential, and institutional uses. I will read into the record before we get into the motion there, the email that was received from Shauna Perry. Good morning, my name is Shauna Perry. I currently rent a house located at 15 Lorne Avenue. I recently noticed the city's announcement in regards to Ryan's Landscaping potentially moving into 19 Lorne Avenue. I am on a lease at 15 Lorne Avenue until May 2023 or potentially longer. I live there with 2 very young children and a dog. Will this new restricted use of 19 Lorne Avenue have any impact on our day-to-day living? Loud noises, early morning construction, which could potentially wake up my children, machinery in the lane where my kids play, etc. Am I allowed to attend the meeting next Wednesday? So, I don't know, Linda, what the response back to Shonda's.
Yeah, it was in the prior part of the report where
Right.
she was encouraged to attend the public meeting or send in comments.
Okay, yeah. I recall now, thank you. So the planning board recommendation, I will read the application from Ryan's Landscaping and Snow Services, Inc. for 19 Lorne Avenue, PID number 70276, PID number 584524, and PID number 995506, to allow a light construction company as a restricted use in the service commercial C2 zone be recommended to be approved by council. And if I can get a mover and a seconder for that, a move by Councillor Ramsey, seconded by Councillor Adams, we would open the floor to the planning board for discussion. Your worship.
Yeah, just a question, there are a couple of short questions. I noticed there are 3 lots, 3 different property numbers. Are any buildings on those other 2 lots, and are all the lots owned by the same person? Are we rezoning something here for 1 owner or 3 owners, or what?
So the first question is the 3 properties are owned by the same person currently, and it was a part of I believe, the purchasing agreement that they took all 3, purchased all 3. If they only sold the one on the upper portion, the other 2 lots would be landlocked.
Right.
So all 3 are being considered.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Councillor Durand.
Thank you, Councillor McFeely. I don't have any concerns. I guess I was just going to mention that, at least for me, it seems that all of the things that people may or may not have been concerned about were addressed in the report. So I was just going to request that, as mentioned at the last meeting, if there's a consensus to do so, maybe to move this up to the special council meeting tonight rather than have to wait additional nights, just so they can get underway as soon as possible at the location, if there's a will of council to do so.
And we will consider that as part of the special council meeting agenda. We do have the motion to go tonight if council deems it appropriate to go tonight. So having not heard significant voices against it, I don't see any reason why it can't go forward tonight. So, any other comments? I'm not seeing any lights from planning board. So basically, we would be read the recommendation again, and it will go forward, if all council agree to amend the agenda later tonight. It would be dealt with tonight. If not tonight, then it would be dealt with at the regular monthly meeting, so. Planning Board recommendation in the application from Ryan's Landscaping and Snow Services, Inc. for 19 Lorne Avenue, PID number 70276, PID number 5845524, and PID number 995506 to allow a light construction company as restricted use in the service commercial C2 zone be recommended to be approved by council. And that was moved by Councillor Ramsey, and it was seconded by Councillor Adams. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contrary? Motion carried. So that wraps up that particular item of the agenda. We have one other item, and I'm not sure who asked for that to be placed on the agenda, the short-term rental. Councillor Durant, the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor McFeely. I just have some notes here that I'll try to get over as quickly as possible. I recently had a discussion, it was online, it took place over a couple days, regarding the subject of short-term rentals and how it relates or how it doesn't with the inventory of much-needed long-term housing. There were and there are arguments on both sides of the issue. One person suggested that we follow Charlottetown's lead and indicated that at the heart of the issue, there are occasionally people from off-island and they're purchasing homes, and in many cases they're doing so sight unseen, and they're just, you know, kind of using them as Airbnb type places, and or overcharging rent. I made the comment along the way that we as a council haven't really seen or heard a lot of public outcry on the issue. Certainly we have on the overall need for housing in general, but not so much as it relates or doesn't relate to short-term rentals. There is a general understanding among residents that the province has the responsibility for housing, but someone else made a very good point and said that the people suffering the most for it aren't really going to have the time, focus, or the energy to really know how to address a municipal council about the issue. So as a municipality, I think we need to, in the very least, start a discussion, whether that's implementing some sort of a registry or a list, I don't know. I was going to say we don't need to reinvent the wheel, but maybe we do. I don't think we as a council have the expertise to decide what, if any, regulation or restrictions need to be introduced, but maybe the Bylaw and Policy Review Committee can review what Charlottetown has done or other municipalities, and in collaboration with whoever we need to collaborate with, come up with a recommendation or for or against introducing something. Intention is certainly not to restrict or regulate, you know, people that are in the tourism industry. So with that being said, I am going to email around a copy of Charlottetown's report. It's 278 pages. It's from January 4th of this year. And I'll send around a link to the meetings and presentations that led up to that report. They're going to be adopting their policy in March 2023. As one resident put it in that report, she said, "I do not anticipate that adopting short-term rental regulations will solve the housing shortage, but appropriate restrictions may provide some much-needed relief." So with that, I'll open the floor to discussion or suggestions or as to what we may want or may not want to do as a municipality. It's important, you know, that we don't overstep our you know, into our provincial counterparts. I just wanted to start the discussion because it's one that's kind of lingering and we haven't really ever had it.
Yeah. Well, we had, my recollection is that we brought this forward a couple of years ago and had Policy and Review Committee take a look at it at that time.
Okay.
Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we did. And,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on the committee, but we more or less decided that we
And
wouldn't pursue it.
at that
And
point in
then,
time,
since
that-
then,
that it-
we're in crisis mode here now, and
You know,
maybe
so,
it's time to talk about it again.
you know, is it probably appropriate to send it back to the Planning
Which
and
is, yeah,
Policy
which is what I'm,
Review Committee to take another look at it if necessary and determine if the world is different today than it was 2 years
yeah,
ago.
and that's what I'm proposing, I think, is just to
Yeah.
revisit it.
I
I
don't
mean,
think-
things
I'm not sure.
don't
planning
have to
board-
be,
It's 2 or 3 years since we touched that, but
Yeah.
I would, you know, given the information and the concern, I think it would be prudent on us to send it back to bylaw and policy.
Yeah.
and I'm not proposing we introduce
No,
anything.
no. But we should have
No.
another,
Yeah.
have another look.
But I think it needs to be drilled down probably a little deeper than,
Yeah, it's a different world today than it was even just 2 years ago,
yeah.
in Summerside and everywhere.
Okay. Deputy Mayor.
Okay, I guess I was just thinking as you were commenting on some of the information, if it does go back to policy and review for us to look at as a committee, I'm just wondering about, in your comments, Councillor Duran, like about people buying property sight unsold, that sort of, information. But I'm just wondering in a policy and review, how do we reflect that in looking at a bylaw when it's privately owned properties that go through real estate companies?
And maybe we
really
can't.
The municipality doesn't have any control over that, because I think we've got into that before. And so I think there would need to be something around real estate companies that, the city is looking at that, because I know I've heard the same thing from people. They see a lot of big homes that are sitting vacant, that are owned privately, where there's such a need, such a necessity for housing. And I just don't know how we would look at that in a policy and review without having that advice.
Yeah, and maybe we can't, but it is certainly an element of the overall picture of what's happening, so.
Yeah.
And it's not hearsay, I mean, it's,
Yeah.
Neighbors they know what's going on in their neighborhood, so.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think what we're hearing is that we ask Policy Review Committee to take another look at their work from a couple of years ago and update that. And there's the Charlottetown bylaw now that's something that you may want to take a look at as well.
And I realize it's coming to the end of the council term, and this might be poor timing, but I think we owe it to a lot of concerned people to at least start.
Okay, so I don't think Planning Board has the authority to assign something necessarily to the Policy Review Committee, but Council certainly does. So I guess if it's the consensus of Council, that Policy Review Committee, yes, there will be an election, and some people in chairs may change, but staff are the consistent thing there, so they can carry that forward to the new Policy Review Committee. So. Anything else on that, Councillor Duran?
No, that's everything, unless there's, anybody would like to add anything, but no, I just wanted to get that ball rolling and just kind of let folks know that it's being talked about. It's not something that we want to put on the back burner, especially now with what's happening. So.
Yeah, very timely, for sure. Okay, well, thank you, folks, and that brings us to the end of the Planning Board Committee agenda, so I would entertain the motion for adjournment. Moved by Councillor Ramsey, seconded by Councillor Adams. We are adjourned.
So we're going back into a special council meeting at this point?
Yeah.
So, okay, the resolution, yeah. After
We have to amend the agenda to add that.
Okay, we'll call a special council meeting to order. And we have some people here with us that were not here when we started the committee meeting, so welcome to all members of the public and the viewers on YouTube, as well as members of the Heritage Planning Committee. And is there a motion to amend the agenda? I believe.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor McFeely and seconded by Councillor McDougall.
You should put that one on first if you could.
Yes, yeah. So that's a friendly amendment for that, okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And, okay, you're gonna bring forth the resolution,
We
Councillor?
can deal with the resolution first, and
Yes.
then should be quick, so that'll be good. I need a mover and a seconder, so we'll go with the same order, if that's okay, with moved by Councillor Ramsey and seconded by Councillor Adams. The resolution number COS 22-118. Whereas an application was received from Ryan Landscaping and Snow Services, Inc. for restricted use for PID number 308355 to allow a light construction company at 19 Lorne Avenue in the Service Commercial Area C2 zone under the City of Summerside zoning bylaw. Be it resolved that council approve a restricted use for light construction company at 19 Lorne Avenue, PID number 70276, PID number 584524, and PID number 995506 in the Service Commercial C2 zone under the City of Summerside zoning bylaw.
So it's been moved by
And
Councillor
this bears
McPhee.
the recommendation of Planning Board meeting of October 4th, 2022, Your Worship.
So you're moving this as Councillor?
Councillor Ramsey can move it, and
Okay.
Councillor Adams will second it.
Okay, so it was read by Councillor McFeely, so it's moved by Councillor Ramsey and seconded by Councillor Adams. Any questions on the motion, resolution? I do not see any lights on. All in favour say aye.
Aye.
Contrary nay. Carried. So that's that, and I think maybe, I believe those people are here tonight, but there is an appeal period of 21 days, I believe, Councillor McFeely, just for an explanation for them.
Pardon me, Your
There
Worship?
is an appeal period.
There is an appeal period of 21 days, effective today.
So the people are here tonight, so they,
Yeah.
you know, if somebody can appeal it to IRAC if they want. But anyway, if you need any further
I guess-
information, contact. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's just a kind of sort of an understanding that if you want to get underway tomorrow, it's at your own risk for those 21 days.
Yeah.
Till October 25th. Hey, Google.
And since it's in the snow,
I just heard October 25th.
since it is a snow removal business, that could happen this time of year. Okay, we're moving right along here. Special counsel or the Heritage Conservation Plan. Okay, we'll continue on with that item on the agenda. So is that Carrie, or sorry, Councillor Adams,
No, that's me.
or sorry, Councillor McFeely?
That's me as well, with your,
You get those lights, you get the lights with the glass on that shines in both glasses.
Okay, we are here to discuss the Heritage Conservation Plan and Bylaw Review. And just in terms of background, and as Chair of the Heritage Review Task Force, I would like to provide a few comments before we open the floor for public comments. Council appointed a 5-person Heritage Review Task Force in early 2021 to review the current and heritage plan and bylaw. The task force group includes myself as chair, Natalie Hashi, Carl Delaney, Kate Cormier, and Peter Homan. I think everybody's here tonight except Kate, maybe? I don't see Kate. Kate, oh, there you are. Can't see you under the podium there. The group met 15 times over the last year and a half, resulting in a final draft Heritage Plan 2022 Heritage Bylaw CS-37 and Heritage Criteria and Programs document that were released for public review in late August. A formal legislative process started 2 weeks ago at the monthly meeting of September 20th. Council with resolutions to read and approve as read a first time the Heritage Construction Bylaw CS 37. Copies of these documents were available prior to and at the monthly meeting. Copies of the documents are available to the public this evening on the table inside the entrance to council chambers. With respect to this evening's public meeting, the heritage documents were advertised in the newspaper advertisements. Electronic copies on the City of Summerside website, and hard copies were available at City Hall. And finally, notice of the public meeting posted on the city Facebook page. Written letters were mailed to all property owners with the city designated heritage properties regarding this process. The mandate of the task force was to review the current COS Heritage Plan and Bylaw SS-20, which was approved back in 2003-2004. These documents needed to be brought up to date with current best heritage planning practices and be consistent with other city policies, documents, and provincial legislation. Just to refresh, back in November of last year, a public roundtable was held at Credit Union Place in the Veterans Center, and most of council, I think if not all, were there. We had a great turnout from our residents and the heritage and the heritage community. Several residents provided written and verbal comments on the draft documents. The task force members were very appreciative of receiving these thoughtful and helpful comments. We had peer review from the Provincial Heritage Officer. The task force spent considerable time reviewing and incorporating several of the residents' comments in the final drafts. As well, internal staff consultations occurred during the spring and summer months. So there's a significant body of work, there was significant public input, and I can assure you that the task force reviewed all of these documents in very fine detail, word for word for word. So with that, is the time in the meeting where we would open the floor for the public. First of all, for the public, we would invite any comments from the public. Then we'll open the floor if any members of the task force would like to make any comments, and we would then invite council to make any comments. So with that, we'll open the floor to the public, and the only caveat around that is that we're here to talk about these documents, so if we can restrict our comments to discussing the document that's being considered this evening. And Thane, I don't know if you have anything to add before we do open the floor.
I just suggest to Councillor McFeely that we did have 2 written comments.
Oh yes,
We
my apologies.
Probably should read those first.
I will read those into the record prior to, thank you for that. The first one here is dated September 27th, addressed to me, Chair of the Heritage Review Task Force. Hello, Councillor McFeely. My overall view after reading and assessing the 3 draft documents, Heritage Conservation Plan 2022, Heritage Conservation Evaluation Criteria and Program, Heritage Conservation Bylaw CS 36, is very positive, and I do support the adoption of the above documents as written at this point in time. I do feel strongly that a heritage officer position be considered when the new mayor and council takes office. And see further comments on this point. I'll read that as well. The documents are clear and concise and do contain considerable improvements from the first draft last fall, as well as positive new opportunities for heritage restoration efforts by owners of relevant buildings. Points: a substantial improvement over SS-20, which this bylaw and related documents replaces. The adoption of by the city of the standards and guidelines as a guide to sensitive restoration is welcome, and when followed, protects the architectural integrity of heritage buildings, sites, monuments, landscapes, etc. The protection of original windows and other original details telling me something, cutting me off. The protection of original windows and other original details of a building is critical, and the documents recognize this aspect. Once original windows and doors and architectural details are lost, the building has limited value as a heritage building. And it goes on to talk about the value of a heritage officer who is a qualified architect, having had experience in building restoration issues, working relationships with landscape architects, restoration architects, comfortable with other aspects of urban design and planning issues. Owners of registered historic properties will be less inclined to designate their properties without a qualified city staff person to discuss proposed restoration issues and to use as a resource to make the proper decisions which will mitigate poor restoration outcomes. To access the restoration financial benefits offered by the new bylaw, the city must approve such changes. So it is mutually beneficial to the public and the city to have a resource person available. I wish to thank the Heritage Bylaw Review Task Force and Advisory Board for their considerable work in preparing these documents. Very best regards, Robert Boyer, the McLennan Hunt House at 193 Fitzroy Street in Summerside. And then the other one was to thank Jenkins from N. Perry Cook, dated September 27th. Greetings, Thane. Would ask that you kindly pass along the following to those involved in moving the above forward. And many thanks. Relative to the above three documents, understand that the proposed drafts seem to be as much and as good as one could hope to have been produced at this time. I would urge adoption moving forward. Kindly note that the vetting process for appointment of the Heritage Board relative to at least the picking of the 3 citizens members to be appointed by council resolution, and that's section 4.2.2 of the proposed bylaw, must require that applicable heritage preservation experience relative to architecture, landscape, and material chosen be defined so as to ensure that knowledgeable and experienced personnel fill said positions. Citizen participation on this board need to be capable of bringing applied knowledge to the program. They must not simply be friendly political appointments. And that's regards N.P. Cook at 122 Spring Street, Summerside. So those were the two, and thank you, Thane, for reminding me of that. And with that, we will again open the floor to the public for any comments they may have, and ask that you restrict those comments to the task tonight around these particular documents. So the floor is open, and when you come to the podium, please state your name and address for the public record. Thank you.
George Dalton, 288 Notre Dame Street. This is indeed a milestone that's occurred here. Originally, when the document started and the Heritage Board or the Historical Society was trying to carry the torch for preserving our history. So I've been involved in this committee in the past, and I want to say that it makes a big difference having some teeth and having some safeguards. And I want to say also that I had a great relationship here with our committees and a good working system going in our city a number of years ago. And that was with the late Murray Pinchuk. He played this role of being the gatekeeper for looking out for history in our community. And I was told the other day, just when the time he died, that the province was going to recruit him. He was so good at that. And so he's done a lot for us, and some of these things are kept today because of it. So we celebrate that. I think that's something that's long been waiting for, and it'll kind of set the guidelines and the safety that things just don't get lost or swept under the table too fast. There's the times that are important to restrict time to rethink what we do, and that's really important. So I want to also say that I have the greatest respect for Brian. He's leaving, and what he's done, and his leadership has been just great. Brian, thank you. And for the committee that worked so hard and a lot of hours making this plan now complete. And that is a major task. So also, I'm always a person that believes in good neighbors. And I want to say that the good neighbors of Charlottetown joined this committee and to help us and guide us along. And I think Charlottetown has 3 heritage positions, I think, in their city. So the recommendation that come out from the 2 gentlemen that wrote in is something that we need, and I hope that council gives that every consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, George, and thank you for the kind words. Anybody else from the public that would like to have any comments? If not, we will turn to the task force members and then certainly invite any of you that wish to make a comment. I know we've had lots of time for comment in those 15 meetings. Okay, thank you. And oh, yes, welcome, please, Natalie.
Natalie Hashi, 145 Linden Avenue, Summerside. I'm a citizen member of the Heritage Planning Board. And I've been involved with Built Heritage in Summerside as a city employee back in 2004 for a few years, and then as a citizen, and now as a member of the Heritage Board. And it's nice seeing, we saw some of the holes in our previous bylaw even back when it was adopted in 2004, 2005, as we were working with it as staff. And it's nice to see some of those issues addressed. And I think we have a much stronger document. I think we have a much healthier document. I think we have an opportunity to really promote heritage in our community, and we've been able to offer our citizens incentives, tax incentives and grant programs that have always been missing and that we knew we needed, and it's nice to be able to have those in the proposed bylaw and be able to offer our citizens something for their role as stewards of our history. And so I just want to say I'm so pleased with the work of our committee and how we've worked together to address our shortcomings and come up with what I think is a great document. And I'm looking forward to working with council in the future over this. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Natalie. Any others? And I really, you can't say enough about the work of these folks and the dedication to this exercise, and not only the 15 meetings, but, you know, umpteen hours of reading documents in between the meetings too. So it was a mammoth task, and we were so fortunate to have these folks agree to take this on. You know, the remuneration wasn't much, 0 times 0, 0. No. So we really appreciate that. So with that, I would open the floor to council for any comments that any councillors might have.
Go ahead, I'll wait till afterwards.
Councillor Adams.
I just wanted to thank all the members. I know it's a tremendous amount of work, and I think it's something that you have to have a love for, and I appreciate that. Our family renovated a 150-year-old farmhouse in Clinton one time, and it's definitely a labor of love, and it's not designated at this time still, but It's definitely something that we wanted to preserve what we could with what was there. And it's, you can tell the appreciation that people have for it. And even with our latest, storm with Fiona, it was, when you see even, the trees and that part of the heritage destroyed, it's heartbreaking. I know a tree isn't like a house, but it's still, it's part of our heritage. And so I just wanted to say that I really appreciate it, and thank you so much for all your work.
Thank you, Councillor. I'm not sure who's next. Why don't we just go around the room, start with Justin.
Sure, okay, thanks, Councillor McFeely. Yeah, seeing that the previous bylaw was 20 years old, it seems to me that it becomes more and more important to find those holes in previous versions that Natalie had mentioned, because as the more years that pass, the more difficult it is to preserve a lot of just the physical infrastructure that makes up the heritage region of our city. So just a very quick kudos to all the committee members for a job well done, and hopefully in 20 years when we're back revisiting this one, we'll be finding the holes and being able to just continue to improve on what there is in place. So again, just congratulations and kudos to everyone involved.
Thank you, Councillor Durand. Councillor Ramsey.
Yes, I'm next. Thank you, Councillor McFeely, and thank you again, Councillor McFeely, for leading this group, and all of you fine folks from the city of Summerside to come in and do this work. And I think after 20 years, it was well needed. And I really appreciated the open meeting that we had, where folks came in from the community and gave their ideas and their opinions. And I'm really proud of this council for, saying okay to the initiatives and everybody working together. And I think it's a wonderful program that we have here now. So, excuse my voice. Thank you to each and every one of you, because it's a lot of work that you put into this. Thanks. Oh, my goodness.
Councillor McDougall. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McFeely, and thank you for leading this project. Thanks to all the committee. I know there's a lot of hard work goes into it and a lot of thought, and we really appreciate that. I also wanted to send out a big thank you to Thane. Thane is a big part of our planning and heritage, and Thane, we really appreciate the work you do. So thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you, Councillor McDougall. And Your Worship.
Sure, okay, all right. I thought the others lights were on first. First of all, I want to say thank you as well I see Mr. Mellion here tonight, and I know the Compton name has been around here for a long time, and you see the picture over here on the wall. Speaking of heritage, there was a gentleman here from London, England. We spent a couple of days with him doing the history of the area and the history of the Comptons, and he was in, he even had the picture right off the wall. I guess it's an ancestor of yours, so that was a very interesting couple of days, and a smart young guy, and he's gone back to university. Anyway, also I want to thank George Dalton. George, you've been a great historian over the years and working on our heritage, and we appreciate your efforts. And I see Peter Holman here. That Holman name has been around for 150 years or more. And Carl, it's good to have you here, and Katie and Natalie, thank you all for your efforts. And we're trying to do our thing here too as a council, working with Thane and staff to be with it, sort of thing, this day and age. And you had mentioned this last 3 years or so, maybe a little longer than that, but with the last hurricane in 19 and Hurricane Dorian, we'll call it Dorian, right? I think that's the official name. And then we had to deal with COVID, and then we had to deal with so many requests for development. It was just amazing the amount of meetings we had to call, and we got all zoomed out, but we had to process the business. So, and then this last one a couple of weeks ago, or whatever it was, Fiona. So there's so many things that this council had to deal with, and it was a shame, like Carrie said, to see some of the older trees. It's been talking to one person today, and they're around 100 years old, big as this big, and it's a shame, but that's what's happened. I guess it's Mother Nature's way of pruning. And but anyway, we came out of it pretty good. We're fortunate here, speaking of heritage, to have our electrical utility. It's been around for over 100 years now, and we've across the island, a lot of people, you know, they're really having difficult times right now with no power. We're fortunate in a number of ways to have our utility. Plus, the utility is in great shape. Our poles are in pretty good shape, and our electrical staff did an excellent job to get power back on, if you will, and get the streets cleaned. And there's still a lot of work to be done to haul all of these old trees away. But we're proud of our old city here in town, and I guess it started out as Green Shores many years ago, and we're proud of this building here. I remember a number of years ago there was discussion about the shape of the building. I'm wandering on a little bit here, Mr. Chairman, but we'll finish in a second. But this building here needed some work badly, and there were a few suggestions at the time, not necessarily from in here, but maybe you should just demolish it. But there was no way under the sun. The council of the day said that's going to happen. So they brought it up to standard and renovated and added to it because more space was needed. And the design of the new section is similar to the 1886 or whenever this one was built. And so we maintain that. And I got to commend our staff and Laurie for the work that was done to get, and the council as well. We had many meetings and Tech Services, many meetings to get the funding in place to renovate the Armory building for, I think it was a $700,000 or $800,000 project. But the feds and the province were on side. And I will say this, over the years, the feds and the province have been with us in many, many applications. We got a lot of work done here in the city with 33-cent dollars. We have a good working relationship. When I say we, I'm talking about the city council and staff. A good working relationship with the province and the feds for projects. Most of the projects that are submitted to the province and the feds are approved because they're done very professionally by the Thanes and the Aarons and the Greg Goodies and the Gordons and
Kristen's.
Kristen's still with us around
Yes,
the corner
she
there. And Mike Tasuskas. We get commented a lot about the applications that go to federal government, how professionally they are prepared. And whether the one, let's take the example for the solar system. That was $60-some million, and we had the federal minister here, we had the provincial minister here, and they come up with a bucket full of money knowing that we're pushing the green energy sort of thing as much as possible. And so with a team effort, and that's similar to the Heritage Committee. You work together as a team, and you can get things done, the strength in numbers, and this council has accomplished a lot with this and many things because of their team effort. We don't agree a lot of the times, sometimes on certain things, but, and that's the way it's supposed to be in a democracy. But we're all trying to get to the same place. The odd time, some of us want to follow a different route to get there. But anyway, I commend the committee for your efforts, and I commend the staff and council for the 100% support for the committee and for the staff to move things forward. And we're living during interesting times and very changing times. And so you have to be able to try to see around the corners. And we all know in this business, things fall in the sky you can't see coming. And we've mentioned a couple just for conversational purposes. The base closure, we were not expecting that happened. And then all of a sudden we got word that we got funding, could get funding for the Armory's renovations. So you got to be always ready to go after every cent you can get from the other two orders of government, say thank you very much, then you go back for more. And they've been good to us that way with proper application. So that was a little longer than half a minute, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for the brief comments, Your Worship.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
I don't know if there's anything left to say, and I can't sing. Anyway, I do want to really express our appreciation and respect for the Conservation Task Committee. You've done a great job, and also I want to thank Councillor Bryan and also our Officer Thane for all of the work that you have put into it, because it's a lot of work, and as Councillor Bryan has said, it's a volunteer role, and I know that a lot of you have put your heart and soul into it, so we certainly appreciate it. I think for me, being the councillor in the Ward 6 Downtown Historic Ward, Center East, I know for me, it's something that I hold very dearly, and I'm the kind of councillor that if I feel like speaking up about something, I will. And I do take great offense when people do put down what we are doing in heritage, because I know ever since I've come on in 2001, we have progressively worked very, very hard as previous councils. And do we have it 100% right? No, we don't. But I think this task force has really done a great deal of work, and former volunteers as well, and we really thank you. I look at heritage as history, facts, research, restoration, and respect. And that is something that I do think the city of Summerside offers in all of the assets that we do have in this beautiful treasure that we call Summerside. And I think that it's very important that the work, the dedication, the revitalization, I know as we go around talking to people, they're talking about revitalization. And as Mayor has already indicated, sometimes you have to deal with the cards you're dealt. And as a council, this sitting council, we've had to endure with our staff and volunteers trying to do things through Zoom meetings. We've gone through Hurricane Dorian. We've gone through COVID-19 and maintained things, and we have had to deal with Hurricane Fiona. And this council has had to deal with a leadership type of shepherding mode to keep our residents and the community safe. So I really feel the work that the Conservation Committee has done has been tremendous in everything that we've gone through these past number of years. So I want to thank all of you very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Ramsey.
And I just have something really quick, and it's to ask Thane for forgiveness, because I did not mean to leave you out. I'm very, very sorry. I know how much work you've done on this, and thank you so much. Please forgive me. Thank you, Thane.
Mr. Chairman, can I just mention something? I would like to follow up what George said there.
Sure.
On Mary Pinchuk. God rest his soul, he's gone now, and he was with us for a number of years. But he was, no question, he was tremendous. And Thane, you got a lot of his traits, and I know you worked together with him. And there is a provincial award now, the Mary Pinchuk Award. But we've sat here in meetings, there were requests for zoning, all these kinds of things. And Mary could always come up with a way to help John Q. Public, who had the request, and the council. He was a very deep thinker, and he was very, very intelligent, and obviously he had a lot of experience, and we still miss him, and I know you do. But I know he worked closely with you, and you're getting a lot like him now.
There you go.
Thank you.
Well, okay, and others have said it, Thane. I certainly had intended to thank you for your, people talk about me leading the task force, but really it was Thane's work behind the scenes that was driving the agenda in most cases, and we thank you for that. And I also want to thank Linda, who attended certainly the vast majority of the meetings, if not all. So we really appreciate their assistance and their advice and professional guidance as we kind of went through the exercise. So thank you very, very much. So, and I know we checked in with council periodically throughout the exercise, and so pleased with the support of council throughout this exercise. I know the mayor alluded to that we don't always agree, but I think there was unanimous agreement on this as we moved through it. There was certainly questions and good discussion and good debate, but generally speaking, this council was behind this 100%. So we appreciate that support as well. So with that, we won't belabor things. We'll move into the explanation of the process here so that people understand how this moves forward. So it's a several-step process. A, the Heritage Bylaw is read the first time and declared as read at a first council meeting. This step occurred at the monthly meeting of September 20th. B, council has a public meeting to receive comments, and that's what is occurring this evening. The public comments from this evening will be considered by the task force members, and for the most part, they've been very positive, so we'll have that opportunity. D, the Heritage Plan 2022 is adopted by council. This is scheduled for the monthly meeting of October 17th. So the council meeting of October 17th, which unfortunately I cannot be at because I'm at a province, but I know the planning board members, Councillor Adams and Ramsey will carry it through for council's consideration that night. E, the Heritage Bylaw is read a second time and declared as read at a second council meeting, and that's what will happen on October 17th. F, the Heritage Bylaw is adopted by council. This is scheduled again for the 17th. G, the Heritage Scoring Criteria and Program Documents will be adopted by council, and that will happen on the 17th. And after everything is approved by council or not, once it's approved by council, all documents are sent to the Minister of Economic Growth, Tourism and Culture, and that's when things become official. So that's the process, and Your Worship, that kind of brings my portion of the meeting to a close. So thank you.
Thank you. And all through this process, we thanked a lot of people, Councillor McFeely, but you as chair, we want to especially thank you as well, because I know it was mentioned that we probably have 3 times the meetings this year than we did other years because of COVID and because of all of the development. I think Brian was keeping track of the meetings that we had, and we thank you for your many, many hours and work on this project as well, with everything else that you're involved with the council, and chair this and co-chair that, and so we thank you for your efforts as well. So
thank you.
Anyway, we've gotten to the end of the agenda. I guess we need a motion. I believe there's one item for the committee of the whole on the Municipal Act, Government Act, but is there a motion to adjourn the meeting, and then we'll take a 5-minute stretch? Sorry, moved by Bruce and seconded by Councillor Adams. All in favor say aye. Contrary nay. Carried. Meeting is adjourned.